Namaste. I'm making a video tonight. I actually started making it last night, but I got drunketh, so I had to. Yeah, the thoughts they were flowing and then they flew. So I'm gonna come back today and make this video. So the video, what I'm making this video about is about the Netflix documentary Escaping Twin Flames, right? So you can look it up, and it is a so I've only watched the first episode. I've only watched the first episode, and I'm taking quite a few things from this. So we know we're in a spiritual awakening. If you're not aware, there is definitely a spiritual awakening. We're really deep in, and it's going hard, and it's going to keep going. Um, with the spiritual awakening, what happens is people get out of the 3D mindset and they start to embrace what has always been there, is that we're spiritual beings. There is a spiritual realm. Thus, when we pass, we go, to the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm is, I'm sure it's a physical realm as well, but it is ascended. It's not the 3D existence. Basically, just the things that we can see and feel. Anybody who's involved in religion, they somewhat believe in spirituality, whether they realize it or not. Especially Christians, you talk about Yeshua, after he was resurrected, he came back and walked through the wall, with disciples. It's funny, the stronghold that Christianity has on some people, and how they, try to attack spiritual people, when spiritual people sometimes are more in tune with God than religious people. There's so much stuff in the Bible that is literally like, what, while they shun everything, it's literally like stuff in the Bible that can't can you explain it, like Balaam donkey talking to him, angels, giants, fleeces, just all kinds of stuff. The sun standing still in the sky, just all kinds of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Like, this is spiritual stuff, right? The Bible is literally telling you that there is supernatural stuff happening, but Christians like to get really legalistic, and they want to eliminate everything as evil. Um, when the Bible you read is basically telling you stuff like, how can you um, discount what the Bible is telling you? Okay, so anyways. On the spiritual awakening, people are waking up to stuff, and I feel like there's going to be an attack on that, because people don't want us to come into they don't want us to come into our higher selves. They don't want us to know the power that we actually hold. So, and with that said, just like a lot of religions turn into a cult, and you have swindlers and all that different stuff, you're going to have that in spirituality as well. You're going to have people who do stuff for gain. So escaping twin flames is literally about twin flames. If you're not familiar with what a twin flame is, definitely look it up. It's a lot to it. Um, so I kind of have like a varying view on twin flames. You have to, like, I'm just relaxing tonight. I wanted to come back and make this video while it's still fresh in my head, because I was on a roll last night and then I rolled on off. So, but anyways, so twin flame, the way that it's described is it's two people who share one soul, who are separated, split into two different people, right? Um, and there's levels to it. There's, like, they say you only have one twin flame. There's only one person, and it's usually, to my knowledge, feminine and masculine. That's basically your highest divine counterpart. Maybe we could say it like that. Um, so twin flames are basically supposed to be the same person split in two, which I'm not quite fond of that idea, because I am my own person, but I do believe that there is a divine partner who would literally be the masculine version of me, right? And not to say that they don't have a feminine side, right? I feel like that's a lot of men's problems nowadays is they don't acknowledge that they have a feminine side as well, and they're scared to tap into that because they think that'll make them weak or um, homosexual or something, right? And then that's how they try to demean women by saying you're masculine. We all have masculine and feminine attributes, right? God is not a man. God is not a woman. God created man and woman, right? There's goddess just like there's God. I've went over this in my other videos. But I don't want to go as far as saying that they're the same person in two different bodies. What I will say is I believe that people do have a divine counterpart, right? And the thing with twin flames, it's explained that if you are able to come into union, that you are supposed to do something that greatly impacts the world, right? You can do it by yourself, but the union kind of like brings it to another level, right? So I wouldn't go as far as to say I believe they're the same soul in two different bodies. That's kind of weird to me, but I believe that you do have a divine counterpart. Now there's levels to it because then there's soulmates, right? A soulmate is somebody who's just like a soul. They're a part of your soul, right? Like if you believe in past lifetimes or whatever you agreed to before you came here, this is somebody who is connected to you. It can be a man, it could be a woman, like it could be a friend, right? And maybe it could be an animal, right? But twin flames is supposed to be your divine counterpart, right? So the thing with it though is it's kind of, from what I've observed, it's very challenging to actually have a twin flame union because there has to be an awakening and all this different stuff. So that's why I don't really buy into like you're the same person split into two different parts, because where it gets funny is they try to make it seem like as you do your spiritual work, it's going to impact the other person. And I don't like that because that puts accountability on you to do something to cause somebody else to do stuff, right? And that was one thing when I was in Christianity. Now, mind you, I never actually called myself a Christian when I was in Christianity. I never really understood that. But when I was in Christianity, one of the things that I mentioned before, I was in a cult, and this cult was really dead set on saving every soul, right? And so they put all this pressure on you to make it feel like every little thing you did and didn't do could literally cause somebody to go to hell or you save them from hell. And that's a lot of pressure. I don't know how people live with that, because at the end of the day, all you can do is live your life. Everybody has to make their own individual choices. You may influence somebody, you may impact them, but ultimately is their decision of whether what they're going to do, right? And this is a conversation I have with my son. It's like the world is too diverse. There's too many different experiences and circumstances. No two people's situation is the same. I think the Bible even mentions that as well. Work out your own salvation, right? You have your own path that you have to walk. You have your own path, right? But if you are a good person, you're going to make an impact. Just like if you're not a good person, you're going to make an impact, right? But to leave it on somebody, and mind you, when I was at this church, I was like in my early 20s. It was a burden. I was so scared. Like if I didn't tell somebody about God, or if I didn't do something a certain way, this person could go to hell, and that's a horrible feeling to have. So that's why I'm not really into that aspect of two different beings, because what I do in my divine feminine body is what I do. I can't influence anyone. Well, I can influence, but I can't make anyone do anything, right? And so then people become obsessive, right? So that's the thing. Like they explain like a runner chaser dynamic. Like, you know, with the twin flame, somebody may be more awakened or more whatever than the other person. And yeah, it just it seems like a circle jerk sometimes, because it's just like you're always waiting to come in a union, and they're like, twin flame sex is the best sex ever. Who don't want some good divine sex? But look, all of that aside, that's why I don't kind of embrace all of it. But I'm going to go back to saying I believe that there is a high, there is if you guys are aligned, I believe you can connect with somebody who will be like the best match for you, right? But that typically doesn't happen because oh, and that's another thing. They said everybody does not have a twin flame, because a twin flame is supposed to be a higher level commitment, right? So everybody doesn't have a twin flame when they come here. Um, but then, if you come in a union, it's supposed to be really great, right? But the coming into the union is the wild part, because you rarely hear of it happening. So what can end up happening, like I said before, just like religion discards spirituality, spirituality can be corrupted by the same charlatan energy that's in churches and mosques and synagogues and all that stuff, right? You have people who do stuff for profit. You have people who are delusional, all this stuff. So thus we have this escaping twin flames, and I've watched the first episode, and it was a lot for me. Okay, so I just was trying to watch it because I feel like I said, in the attack of spirituality, to keep people from ascending and their third eye opening or coming out the matrix or whatever. They're gonna make a lot of things seem delusional and crazy, because it's basically like they have to keep you controlled. They have to keep you in a box. You can't believe you're limitless, for real, right? So they're gonna make things like this seem absurd. But it's proper perspective. So the last video, was it the last video I made? I don't think it was the last video I made, but I made a video. It was one of the last two, where I was talking about like how it annoys me how people worshipped Cynthia G, how they're worshiping Princella, how they're now, mind you, I think that their messages are necessary. Like, in the awakening, everything is being awoken, right? Like what has been oppressive to the planet is being changed, right? And patriarchy is oppression. It's oppression to women. It's oppression to the planet. Male and female are, if we want to say twin, if you want to think about twin flame, we are the masculine and feminine. We are equal but separate. If that makes any sense. I don't want it to sound like slave, but we both of our purposes are extremely important. Male doesn't supersedes women's, and women's doesn't supersede men's, right? So we just serve different purposes, but we ebb and flow within those purposes, right? So in saying that, I feel like they will be trying to make spiritual people seem delusional. That's like, there's mediums, there's psychics, there's clairvoyance, there's telepathy, which I believe in that because I've actually done telepathic stuff before. But they want you to believe that stuff is absurd. And then they just want you to keep getting mesmerized by the bread and circuses. The political gamer, I used to be subscribed to him. I think his channel's gone, but I used to love to hear him talk. But he brought up like to keep people entertained with bread and circuses. Basically keep people distracted with bullshit. Like, reality TV and all the stuff, going on, always the news, something happening, all this stuff. And people aren't going to tap into their higher selves. They're not even going to do the spiritual work because they're being distracted by bullshit, bread and circuses, food, whatever, right? Okay. So But in saying that as well, I also see how this couple looks like there's some cold ass motherfuckers, and they're greedy. And they're completely for their self-interest, right? But let me go back. What I was saying is I appreciated Cynthia G's message. It was powerful, right? Um Princella has said some powerful stuff too, but it's some stuff with Princella that I kind of side eye, like, you know what I'm saying? Where it seems like she's really advocating for lesbianism, which, okay, if you are a lesbian and you want to be one, that's fine. But trust and believe, every woman does not want to be a lesbian. And if I don't, that does not mean I hate women. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like Princella's can get a bit extreme. Um, but I mean, I guess I can kind of understand why some stuff has to be extreme, because when you're trying to wake some up people out of a stupor, you know what I'm saying? Talking to them softly is not going to get the point across. But I do feel like you need to really be authentic, and you need to be very careful about what you say, especially if you're calling yourself being a leader, right? But here's what I'm saying about this is like, when people stop thinking for themselves, they start worshiping these people, they basically deify these people. That's what I did not like. And I said in that video, like, at this point, you cannot blame cult leaders. You cannot blame these people. I feel like you have to blame their followers, because I feel like the followers turn the power switch off in their brain, and they literally are they're literally embodying somebody else's ideology, their beliefs, everything about them. And it's not supposed to be that way. We all serve a different purpose on this earth. We all came here for specific missions. My mission is not your mission. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I said in that video is you eat the meat, you spit out the bones, basically. But you should never let anyone dominate your being. And that's what it appeared to me that these people were doing. So at this point, like I said, I was in a cult church when I was like in my 20s. Like, I think I got in around 18. I think I got out around like 24, 25. But I was very impressionable at that time. And I really felt like I was doing the right thing. And the dangerous thing with Christianity is it's like it's all cloaked under the guise of goodness and righteousness, and you know, but when somebody's ideology and their beliefs and how they live starts to dominate you, it's a problem. It's a problem, because at the end of the day, unless that person is providing everything you need, and you still have to go out there and you still have to experience life on your own, you should never allow anyone to have that power over you. So that's what I was saying about these videos. It's not me trying to throw shade on these women. Um, it's not for me to judge, but it's definitely for me to discern. So I don't care how many people you have rallying behind you. If it doesn't resonate with me completely, it's fine. And I'm not scared to diverge when the message no longer serves me, or I'm not scared to be like, oh, well, that part of that message, I don't agree with, right? Because this is my soul and this is my body, and I have a life path that I have to fulfill. I have trauma that I've been healing, my own personal trauma. I've had blessings, my own personal blessings, right? So in saying that, just like you can have cult mindsets and stuff in religion, you can have that in spirituality, right? Because it's just the same. How do you say this? I've heard this. The same. I don't want to say shit in a different rapper, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? Because if people are not doing the work on themselves, you have to do the work on yourself. You can't look to anyone to do the work for you. You have to do the work for yourself, right? I keep going back to this. You came in here alone, you're going to leave here alone. So, out of all the experiences you have while you're here on this earth, when you take flight, you're taking you with you, okay? So, in saying that, spirituality it's experiencing the same thing, but it's experiencing the same thing because you have people who are coming in spirituality, but they are doing the same thing they did before. They're not thinking for themselves. They're not being autonomous. They're not, using discernment, right? And so watching this episode, the woman and the male of the cult, or whatever it was, they bothered the fuck out of me. They got on my fucking nerves. He literally looked like he was a tweaker. Like, this dude had, like, I've talked about the bags under my eyes, but like I said, you see they're healing though. But like I told you guys, my pigmentation naturally is darker around my eyes. But this dude was looking like somebody beat his ass. Like, he was looking like he had two black eyes all the time, and it didn't look natural. So I'm like, is that drugs? Like, he kind of looked like he was on some kind of drug. And then the other, his wife was just, I'm not gonna go too far into that. She just had something about her I did not like. Yeah, I didn't like her face, or I didn't like her whole energy. But what I will say is, what I saw in this first episode is, like, the people who were going into this weren't taking accountability for their own actions. It's like they wanted to blame everything on these two people, right? Almost every single last one of them. Just this first episode, they weren't taking accountability, right? And I mean, you could say they got into it for selfish reasons, you know what I'm saying? Because they're seeking a partner, right? They're seeking this ultimate fantasy of a relationship. But like, it just, like, the way that they duped them, it just was so ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Like, the one young lady, they freaking married her. She got married to some dude 10 years. Okay, that's another thing. They were saying that they were identifying their twin flames. Like, here's the thing. Everybody does not have a twin flame, right? But they're just doing, these rituals and calling in twin flames, and like, you hooked up this young girl with this dude 10 years older who had like all these fucking problems, right? And I mean, she may get a pass from me because she was so young, but in the sense, I feel like she's also the one who just left her family and, ran head first into this, right? So that's what I'm saying. None of the people that I've seen in this first episode have taken any accountability for themselves. And they're doing a lot of finger pointing at this male and this female who are the leader of this, cult, I'm assuming. Like I said, I've only seen the first episode, so I don't know, what's next as I continue to watch. But everybody in this first episode, to me, basically, they're not taking accountability for shit, right? And they want to dump it on it. But I feel like a lot of the shit that they let themselves into is actually really stupid shit. It's really stupid. Um so yeah, they definitely seem like charlatans. The group leaders. I'm gonna have to see where this goes. But yeah, I hope you can gather from my what I'm verbalizing, what I'm trying to say. This does not diminish my beliefs in see, I don't know how I feel about twin flames now, because there was somebody that I thought was my twin flame, and I'm going to tell you why. Twin flame just kind of gave me a term to express my experience that I already had. Now, there was a person that I went to, elementary school with, and even as a little girl, like, I loved this boy. I loved him, and it was, when I say it was love, it was love, and I just felt like I knew I was supposed to marry him, right? And like, we would, we got older, our lives went different ways, and then we would come back together. We went different ways, and then it would come back together. So this guy, though, ended up marrying who I called my best friend when I was younger, but it was a little girl that I played with. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it was like really an equal friendship. I think she played with me because she might have had pity for me, because I was coming up in a pretty what's the best way to say it? It was abusive, and it was um My living circumstances when I was young was not, I wouldn't want any child to live the way that I had to live when I was a young child. But, I don't know. And then I'm just different. Like, I told you guys I have siblings. I live with my two oldest brothers. So my one brother who's right over me, he's he's like Wesley Snipes dark. And I always loved him. Like he was like my soulmate brother, like my twin flame brother, basically. Like we were literally born a day, a month, and a year apart. And then there was my oldest brother. Like we didn't get along that much, but he's like cocoa brown colored, right? My family on my mother's side was typically they were darker, right? And then here I come, this big light skinned, freckled, child. And I think my grandfather used to always tell me my hair was orange when I was a kid. So I never really kind of fit in anywhere, if that makes any sense. And yeah, like even as a child, I just the woman that you hear talking to you today, that was always in me as a child. Like I didn't view things like other people viewed it. I didn't care about popularity. I didn't care about looks. I didn't care about any of that stuff. I guess I did even as a child. I just wanted authentic connections. And I was a very loving child. I am a loving woman. I don't express love the same way that I used to. Um, but anyways, my grandmother, she did the very best she could. She had her trauma that she wasn't getting help for. She was raising three of her grandchildren by herself. I know that was hard for her. She should have been retired. I understand now. I completely offer grace to my grandmother for whatever harm she inflicted on me. And I guess back then, there was like different stuff going on. I got later, I found out that she was on Valium. I guess they just gave that to older women, or women whenever they had an issue. They just gave them Valium and put them in a trance. So I think she had issues with that. So I don't, but in the core of my heart, I really believe my grandmother loved us. But she should have never been in a position to have to raise three of her grandchildren. And then I had my sister who was on my dad's side. That was another raggedy thing. Somehow, when my parents lost custody of us, now here's the crazy part, like, none of us know why really our parents lost custody of us. And like the other people in the family were always generally vague about why, that happened. They never really got into detail telling us what happened. Um, and then the crazy thing is did you guys know that so me and my sister years ago we went to because we wanted to know like what the hell happened. Like I'm telling you, I don't remember like a huge chunk of my childhood, like my early years. Like and some people say, "Oh, no kid remembers." No, my kids tell me like, "Oh, I remember being a baby. I remember all, different stuff." I don't remember much. I like there was a big block, right, that I don't remember. But apparently there was some really crazy stuff going on. So me and my sister, we went to the children's services in our area to see if we can get the information since we're not getting it from anyone. My mom was not in the mental state to be able to give us that information. And like the elder people were being disingenuous and yeah, a lot of them I felt like they really didn't give a fuck about us anyways. Like we were just a burden anyways. They couldn't wait to get rid of us. Um so we went there to get it, and they told us like they couldn't give us that information. Our mom had to sign off to give us that information. Now, meanwhile, my mom was when she was here on this earth, namaste, mama, because she's been with me since she's passed, right? And she's come to me as she's in her right mind now. But she wasn't in her right mind when she was here. She was schizophrenic, psychopathic. Um, and from what I've come to understand about that, that does not mean I have a whole theory on that too. I feel like schizophrenics, I feel like they're really highly intelligent, gifted people, and they have really a really powerful spiritual gift. But if they don't know that and they don't know how to use it, um, it cripples them. But that's a whole nother subject. But my mother couldn't sign that for us. And my dad was, like I explained that. Well, I didn't post that video. He was wild, right? Like his birthday was 9/11, and he was all kinds of chaos. And that has been in me, right? I've been, wild, untamed. Um, but we can get them to sign up for us. And so now they've passed. I don't know how that will work now. I don't know if we would be able to access it now. Um, but yeah, what I'm saying is I miss, like, there's a whole block of my childhood I don't remember, right? But anyways, going back, I just have never really blended with the crowds. And so now this boy I'm talking about, I know he had feelings for me, and then we've ran back into each other as adults. I don't know. He said he was divorced. I don't know. I don't know where he is now. But the few times we talked, I realized how much we had in common. I didn't realize like how traumatic his life has been. I thought he had a better life, because he always came, dressed a certain kind of way and this, that, and the other. So I just, assumed, because he had someone caring for him, that his home life was better. His mother was raising him. I think she was a single woman, single mother. But, it was a runner chaser dynamic. When I say I was in love with this boy, like I was in love with this boy. And I'm talking about at 5 years old, 6. I'm not talking about in lust, in love. And I used to follow him around, and oh my God, he was always running from me. Okay. Now that I'm older, that's embarrassing as hell. But that was the most authentic. I just really had strong feelings for him. And I really believed I was supposed to marry him. He ended up marrying my childhood best friend. I ran into them. I was like, what the fuck? I was married at the time, but it was still a blow to me, right? But I think he said they got divorced, and it's weird because we would just randomly run into each other like in adulthood, and a few times we had conversations and stuff. And then I realized even more, like, wow, there's a lot of similarities in him like me. And I know he was dealing with trauma too, but it didn't seem like he was processing his trauma correctly, right? And so the last encounter that we had, the last time the stars collided or the planets aligned and we met, the way that he left the situation left a bad taste in my mouth. It did. And so I'm saying all this to say, we always have choices. Like, if he was my twin flame, I don't know. I don't care anymore. Because I'm going to tell you this. My self-healing journey has taught me that nobody gets to diminish me. Nobody gets to harm me. Nobody gets to try to make me feel small. If you don't see my beauty and my value and who I am, if you don't see me and if you don't appreciate me, then that's completely fine, right? So twin flame or not, I don't give a fuck. I don't like the way that you move towards me, right? So I'm good on that. Like at this point, I'm just like, okay, that's cool. But a lot of these twin flame relationships, they feel like they have to be tethered to that person. And that's what I'm saying. You're giving up your power of autonomy. You're giving up your self-respect. It doesn't matter if it's Jesus Christ. If he come down here looking like the white Jesus that they show us and he's like, I'm Jesus, and this nigga, and he get disrespectful, it's time to go, bro. It's time, you better get the fuck out my face, because I know that I am the way that I am designed and who I am supposed to be loved, honored, and respected. And you don't get the right to dishonor me and disrespect me because it's some title or some whatever the hell it is. So that's the thing with the twin flame journey. And that's another thing with the twin flame journey. It usually kind of catalysts you onto your awakening and your ascension. But I've had my awakening. I mean, I don't think he was around when I had my first awakening. But like I'm saying, whether he was my twin flame or not, I don't give a fuck anymore, right? I hope that everything is well with him and his situation. but I know what I want for this season of my life is to be loved, happy, safe, free, appreciated, all that good stuff. So, like I keep saying, if I don't have that in anyone else, I know I can give that to myself, right? And so, um, yeah, I just look at that and I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's wild. Anybody who's into spirituality, you know what I'm talking about. And that's the thing. Like people get really obsessive when it comes to twin flame, and like they sit around and wait for somebody. And here's the thing: if they're your twin flame and they love you and they're supposed to be with you, then they would just be with you, right? And that's why that's why I'm saying I don't really believe in that one soul split into two different forms because I'm ascending, right? I'm ascending. You know, I may stumble sometimes, but I'm ascending. If you're my twin flame, you should be as spiritual and awakened as I am, right? So that's why I really question that aspect of it. But whether he was or not, I mean, it could have been infatuation. To me, it was real. You know, this person really meant something to me. And I just thought he was phenomenal. And, you know, I wish he saw himself that way as an adult. But, you know, that's none of my fucking concern anymore. So yeah, if you if you watch this, the first episode, I can't go through it all. I'm probably gonna watch the other ones and upload videos on those, but like I was really aggravated with the people who went to be a part of this because I'm like, you're not taking any accountability for your decisions. Like, what are you doing? Like, um, no, no, you're doing too much. Um, so yeah, I think you should check that out. I think you should check that out. Another thing I want to touch on is this Keke Palmer situation. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm very annoyed with it. I guess I don't view things the way everybody else does. Um, I just can't imagine how Keke Palmer allowed herself to get pregnant. I mean, she basically did that on purpose, right? Like if you're a celebrity and you have a shitload of money, and that's another thing, like, oh girl, the Chloe and Halle, why are y'all willingly getting pregnant? Um, like well, Kiki was older, but I'm just like, she obviously wanted a baby, right? Like, cause I mean, I know she could have afforded birth control, right? It's unfortunate, you know, if she was being abused, but I don't view the situation with Kiki Palmer like everybody else does. I'm just like, I feel like I don't know. I just feel like she needed better guidance in that whole situation. She got with this dude. I mean, yeah, I get it. If you have money, you may not feel the need to get married, but you create a child on purpose because I feel like it was definitely on purpose with this person. Yeah, he was toxic, but I'm just not understanding how that ends up with you with your ass out grinding on Usher. And when is it? Oh, we cool with, you know, because here's what I'm trying to say. Like when Cynthia G was on, I think she had made some commentary on it, and everybody was like, oh, they were saying all this stuff like, oh, you know, against her baby's dad and stuff, and rooting for her, you know, with her ass out with Usher. And I was kind of confused because I'm like, okay, so we cool with Usher now. The same Usher who's literally married to a white woman, like, is we don't black male worship, and we have something against black males who, you know, basically choose white women over black women, but Usher is literally married to a whole ass white woman now. Okay. All right. And, you know, I'm not going to speak about anything else because his personal life is his personal life. But I'm just like, okay, so how is that a good look? Right. And she came out with the video and she was doing all that stuff. And I'm just like, I just felt like that was kind of very toxic because at the end of the day, that is, you allowed this man to be the father of your child, and you will more than likely have to deal with him somehow for the rest of your life. So for you to be moving like this is just not good. And it's just like, you know, but everybody's giving her all the empathy and stuff, you know, and understanding, I guess because she's Keke Palmer. Um, but they don't give other black women who aren't fortunate enough to have enough money to take care of themselves and have the opportunities that she has. They don't give other Black women that grace. So that this whole situation, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it, and I'm not viewing it the same way that everybody else does. I find it ironic that the Bailey girl who played the mermaid literally turned around and got pregnant right after the Little Mermaid. So you have a ton of young Black girls who were looking up to you. A ton. Almost every little Black girl there is. Like I told you, The Little Mermaid was my favorite movie when I was growing up, and she wasn't even Black. It was just about that movie. And it's funny now that I understand astrology. I'm a Pisces, of course, that makes sense. But I just felt like that movie was made for me, right? But almost every Black girl everywhere is paying attention to you because of you being the first, Black mermaid, and as soon as you're done with that, you get pregnant by a man who I think he said he's jealous of her and that he wants to sabotage her. What do you think is going to happen? And I can't understand this because I usually don't speak on celebrities, but I don't understand how they're under Miss Carter's label and she's okay with that. Like, I feel like the record labels have a lot of control over their artists and they have clauses and different things that are acceptable and that aren't. So I'm just trying to understand, mind you, Mr. Matthew would have never allowed this for Destiny's Child. But it's just the way that the two sisters are presenting themselves. It just doesn't seem for their highest good. Baby girl is so young. I don't understand why she's so eager to have a child. But best wishes to her in spite of all of that. The other sister has been really like all over the place, over sexual, right? It's just something I ponder. Like, why is that okay considering the record label that they're under? Why are they okay with their image being so tarnished? I don't know. But anyways, I just don't see Kiki's situation. I don't want to use this word accountability, but it's just like, Kiki definitely had access to birth control. And from what I heard, there was quite a few people who were like, trying to tell her to kind of avoid it. But young people, the heart wants what the heart wants. I had an uncle try to tell me not to marry who I married, but that went in one ear and out the other because my uncle tried to fucking kill me. So yeah, no, I don't think you have my best interest in mind, right? But, I made my decision and I learned my lessons from that experience. It was something else I wanted to touch on tonight, too. It was pretty pertinent, but I can't think of what it is. But anyways, I wanted to go ahead and make this video. I do it raw. I do it from just straight thought. I don't write stuff down. I mean, I might at some point, but yeah, watch that movie Escaping Twin Flames, or that series, docu-series. It's just like the first episode, I was very frustrated, like, and I'm being nice. I'm trying not to use curse words, like, not because I'm concerned with cursing, but it's just like these people, like, yeah. This goes back to what my last video was. You have to have the power to trust yourself and follow your own path, right? It's just like, I don't know. It's just like people just feel, oh, that was a thought I had. Okay. Before I get off, I thought about this. Everybody on this planet is interwoven in some kind of way, like different races and whatnot, right? The thought came to me the other day that a lot of us and some of us are stunted because we're not connecting with the people we should be connecting with. And listen, hear me out here. I've seen some white people that I really think are a vibe. Indian people, Asian people, whatever, right? Um, but you see how everybody just stays to themselves, right? They get all their understanding and knowledge about other races and stuff from people of their own race. And I saw it was some white I don't know if it was a podcast, I don't know, it was something I saw. And I don't know, the people I liked the people that I saw, but it was something about them that I was just like, they're blocked. They're not, they need more. They're supposed to be getting more. They're supposed to have more of an understanding or something, or they're who they are as a person is supposed to develop more, but it's probably not going to develop because they don't associate themselves with black people. And we can say vice versa. Black people who don't associate themselves with, and black and white aren't the only dominant race, but we usually tend to think black and white people. I think it's really fucking ignorant. It's so funny because me and my kids were just talking tonight about anime, and they were just saying like it's rarely any black anime, or because I was just saying I just find it odd and like anime and Japanese stuff. Like I love a good anime, a good one, right? But I've always wondered, even when I was younger, like if this is made by Japanese and Asians and stuff, why are the characters always white, right? And one of the ones that I really enjoyed was Attack on Titan. And I was just kind of confused. Like, I was riding with Attack on Titan until they brought in the black character. And then they had the white character come up to the black character and say, the white girl character come up to the black boy and be like, oh, why is your skin so dark? When I say I got pissed as hell, like, are you fucking serious? Like, y'all done created this whole ass intelligent fucking series, and then y'all gonna bring some shit like this on here? And it just pissed me off because, like, I don't like how black people are always made to feel like they're aliens of the planet, or they're foreign, or we don't, can I touch your hair? I don't like that because okay, I can we are built for this earth, literally. Like, we're built to endure on this earth. Like, melanin protects you from the sun, all this stuff, right? um so when people try to act brand new when it comes to black people, that shit pisses me off because I'm like, we're not the anomaly. We're like the originals here. What are you talking about, right? And when did white people get so in America? When did they get, when we don't understand what black people's skin and hair? But y'all didn't have a problem with that when y'all had our ancestors working the fields, though. Okay. I don't like how other races try to marginalize and to, I want to pick the right words, make black people feel displaced, out of place, unusual, right? Um, I don't like that at all, right? And this is why, like, I don't, like I said, I don't really see the black community as other people do, but it's easy for them to do that because there's not a lot of unity in black culture at all. I just remember one thing I said, but the thought came to me that there are people who are not really coming into the fullness of what they can be because they just can't connect with another race as just a human, right? I've said in my other videos, see my color. Don't be like, I don't see color. You better see my motherfucking color. You better see me, my 4C hair. You better see me because this is who I am. This is who I came here as, right? But you can see me and still appreciate everything there is about me. You don't have to erase my identity to associate with me. That's bullshit. So that was one thing. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. And so it's something that I'm working on, right? Like, I want to be open to receive from whatever light being comes to me in whatever form they come to me in. A divine, holy, heavenly being, light worker, whatever, right? There was something else that came to mind and I just left because this was so important. and it hit my mind. I really wanted to speak on it. But yeah, I just feel like people should be more expansive and more open. But you have to create the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? We definitely have our differences for sure. For sure. But we can have our differences and just be human, to those of us who are actually human. Because I feel like there's a few beings that look human that aren't really human. Ooh, I wish I could. That other thought, it must. Can you bring it back to me? Oh, I can't think of the other thought. But yeah. Anyways, I hope whoever tunes into this had a beautiful day. Let go. Oh, I just saw a young lady. I don't even have her information. She came across the page. Well, she had to be put there for me, saying that you can always start new. You can always start fresh. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're free in a sense. You can always change your direction. You can always start over. So leave the past in the past and start over each day. But I used to say that a lot in my other videos that are on private. Like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna release them. And I'm trying to linger because I want that other thought to come back to me. But if it does, maybe I'll just make another video. But I hope you are well. I spread love to you. I'm gonna, check out these other. Oh, there it goes. Oh, there it goes. It just came to me. Okay. Another thing I noticed. Okay, well, we at 51:35. Okay, so I've been fucking around with Tubi lately. Look, y'all. Why is every black movie on Tubi about somebody cheating on somebody murdering somebody? It is all fucking bad. Like, it is all bad. Look, and this ain't just Tubi. This is not just Tubi. This is like generally all black movies. And I'm not saying Tubi. Tubi is just presenting to us the product. The product is being made by black people, right? Why are y'all so fucking toxic with y'all movie making? Can we get a fucking romance that works out where people get together and they're happy? Do we all have to be cheated on? Is there always infidelity and betrayal? Does it all have to be that? Like, if y'all go to Tubi's Black Cinema, look, y'all, look. What did I watch? Oh my God, I watched Safe Word. I watched Out of Bounds. I've been watching. I don't know why, and I have to clear my energy because like I can only absorb so much negativity before I need to clear my energy. And some of these movies are very well put together, but I am disturbed as fuck that y'all just don't know how to make romantic movies or like movies for black people that don't involve the worst shit ever. And to add to that, that's like on television, like I think it was TV1, they have For My Man. Why do all of us have to look at movies about somebody getting killed? Somebody, like, why is that all y'all make? Y'all have to diversify. Like, these Tubi movies, it's either about sex, it's either about like some kind of betrayal. And I'm calling them Tubi movies, but like I said, I don't blame Tubi. I appreciate that Tubi is actually putting black content out there. But if you scroll through the black content, it's like, damn, this shit is hopeless. Like, look, you have to understand what you take in. What you take in is what you manifest, right? Like, if you eat healthy, you manifest a healthy body. If you let toxic shit into your eyes, that's gonna become a part of who you are, and you're gonna start to attract that shit. So, like, if that's all y'all is ever making, come on. Y'all might be contributing to the toxic ass shit that is in the black community. Okay? And you have to even think about that, even with like black radio stations. Like, why is all our music only about sex? Y'all make songs about your kids. Y'all make songs about your dogs. Y'all make songs about your favorite hobby. Y'all don't make songs about overcoming depression. Everything's about sex. Everything's about sex. So it just like, it's disgusting. Like, I did enjoy quite a bit of those movies. I might watch a few tonight. I wouldn't say enjoy it. No, it was kind of like on Lifetime enjoy, like where you just be like, oh, they be doing some dumb shit. You be like, really? And a lot of these actors and actresses are absolutely beautiful and talented. It just disgusts me that almost every fucking movie on there is about somebody cheating on, she cheating on him, he cheating on her, they plotting on them. There's no diversity in that shit. And so this is why I say, like, Black people need to raise their vibration. They need to really raise their vibration, you know. But as for me, I'm just going to keep working on me. Like I said in the beginning of this video, you can't make anybody do anything. But why are your eyes not open to this shit? And a lot of times, you know what? I'm starting to think people's eyes aren't open because they don't want their eyes to be open. They don't. They don't. So none of that matters. Big world. Lots of good things happening in it. I hope you can heal from whatever you need to heal from. I hope all your needs are provided. I hope you are protected. I hope you are respected. I hope you are loved and appreciated, even if you only do that for yourself. So I'm going to wrap this up. I think this is my first one that's close to an hour. Maybe, maybe not. But namaste and Ashe.